Are we? We're gonna cut off all of that.
Yes. Yes, we
Okay,
will.
great.
Yes, we will. Ooh, I have been waiting so long for this
I've
day.
been waiting so long. Can I just say off the top of the show, it's such an
Yeah.
honor and a privilege and a joy for me to be finally talking Thrones with you.
Yes.
This has been a dream of mine, an absolute
Bitch,
dream of mine since I
I
was
am
watching the
so
show.
happy. Mhm. I am so happy that we are at this point right now, because I always felt bad that I wasn't, I guess, available to talk Thrones with.
Yeah.
For background information, I actually haven't ever watched the original Game of Thrones aside from a few episodes
Yes.
here and there. So House of the Dragon is my first like foray into the world of A Song of Ice and Fire.
You've played the game,
I did play the game. That is right. That is
the
correct. That
Telltale
is
game.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like this is your first legitimate foray. Let's just say that. Because the Telltale
That
game
doesn't
is
count.
literally an imitation of like, yeah, it doesn't count. Whatever. Like this is your first jump into the world. Versus me, I've been a fan since I've been watching this show. I've watched Game of Thrones live as it was airing since season 4. I caught up between season 3 and 4. And the first live episode I ever saw was The Purple Wedding, season 4, episode 2, which was, a very exciting episode for multiple reasons. And yeah, I've just been obsessed since then. I've loved the world. I was, when this was announced, I was like, I was of two minds, because I'm a person that doesn't particularly care for prequels in general. Like the idea of prequels, I don't care for at all. So I was like, disappointed from that aspect, but like I was in it for the, if I get to return to the world, whatever. But I had no idea. Like I knew a few things, but I had no idea where the show was going to be set, when it was going to be set, what it was going to be about. I deliberately did not look into it. So yeah, and it premiered, and everything happened.
It feels like House of the Dragon started like a huge movement, which to a lesser extent to what Game of Thrones used to do when it was airing, but it feels nice to actually be a part of it this time. Like I was
Yes.
always on the outside looking in.
Yeah, and you
like,
were proud of it.
Hmm?
You were proud of it.
Of not watching Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Yes, I was.
You loved it.
Because so here's the thing. I mentioned this at I don't know when, but I mentioned this before in the pod that I used to have a huge problem with nudity. It used to make me like very uncomfortable, and I was so scared of it, and blah blah blah. So Game of Thrones has a lot of that. So
especially the earlier seasons, there's a term that was coined called sexposition. Which is like exposition during sex scenes, because there was so much sex and nudity in the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones.
Oh, period. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm never gonna watch this show, whatever. But then after I got over that, I tried to give the first season a try. I think I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I kind of wasn't vibing. And plus, like, it doesn't help that like the conversation was over, and not only over, the conversation was dreaded because a lot of people didn't like the ending of Game of Thrones. So it's like, okay, like I feel like I just missed the boat, so I'm not gonna ever join. So of course, when House of the Dragon was coming out, I was like, okay, this is the one that I'm gonna jump into.
Regardless, like we didn't know. In the pre-run to the show, there was a lot of hate. Even when the first trailer premiered, there was a lot of like, this looks like shit, whatever, blah blah blah. So and then the first episode dropped, and it like the entire vibe surrounding the show completely shifted. Like it shut people up very badly. So I'm just really excited to talk about it. I'm excited that it's here. I'm excited that it's good. I'm excited to be back. Yeah, wonderful time.
I will
what
say,
a season! What a season of television!
I think. Okay, do you think Hot D season 1 was better than Game of Thrones season 1?
No,
okay.
But I think there are aspects of it that are better. Obviously, cinematography is a lot better. production design. Some of the writing is a lot better, you know, blah blah blah, stuff like that. But I
Mm.
feel like season 1 of Game of Thrones is so like it. I can't help but like, you know, it introduced the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's such like, because this show didn't have to have that on its back because the world was already introduced. They didn't have that pressure of being like, okay, we have to introduce all of this and like the North and whatever. And plus, Game of Thrones was, we were talking about this privately. House of the Dragon is mostly contained within King's Landing and Dragonstone and maybe and Driftmark and a couple of other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones is like it takes place in such a wide variety of locations. You have Jon Snow's point of view in the north. You have Daenerys and Meereen and Yunkai, and later on, one of the locations in House of the Dragon.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, I don't want to say which one. You
Yeah. Sorry.
you
Continue.
have Cersei in King's Landing, Cersei and Jaime in King's Landing. You have the Starks in Winterfell. You have when Arya runs, she goes to what's that place? I can't remember. I
The
can't remember
Isle
the
of
name of the place.
Faces or whatever the fuck it's called. No.
Yeah, that has a name, but like, yeah, like that area, like it's such a huge amount of areas, and they had to introduce the world, and they did it successfully. So
Mm.
it's like it was such like I can't like Hadi season 1 is amazing, but I feel like season 1 of Game of Thrones, regardless of like looking back on it now, you know, the budget's a little low comparatively and stuff like that. Season 1 of Game of Thrones is iconic,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it's not even I feel like it's at to the point where it's like it's not even a fair comparison. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, both of them are amazing, and like
Can I
I
say,
don't. Yeah.
I was really worried getting into House of the Dragon because I was like, okay, I did not watch this 8 season show that introduces this world. Am I gonna be lost? Am I gonna, like, am I not gonna get things? But I'm I'm very glad that it's so standalone. Apart from the first text thingy that they showed, that's like, oh, this is 200 years before the birth of Daenerys
Yeah,
Targaryen or whatever,
and the prophecy.
and the prophecy. Oh
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's true. But I'm really happy that I felt like, I don't know. I feel like this is a really nice introduction to the world, other than the video game, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. I agree. I feel like, and they throw in a little. They throw in little hits, like bits and hints. Oh, I can't even speak. They throw in a little, you know, a few things in there, so they tell you that, hey, this is a much bigger world that when we're showing, but
Mm-hmm.
like the story is focused here.
Mm-hmm.
But like they mentioned the Starks and the North, and you know they mention, you know, all those areas, and even in the final episode, you see the table, which they Dragonstone, that
Mm-hmm.
later on Game of Thrones Stannis Baratheon uses, and then Daenerys.
Mm-hmm.
That has all the names of these areas in this giant ass map, and it's not the complete map of Westeros. It's a small map, but it's like, oh, what the hell is Winterfell? What the
Mm.
hell is
Yeah.
Castle Rock? And like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's like this. It's a huge world, but it's like, yeah, the story is self-contained within these areas, and I feel like they deliver that message very clearly and properly. So like, props to them for sure.
Period. I will say also, it was, I found Hadi to be a lot more enjoyable than the few episodes I watched from season 1 of Game of Thrones
Mhm.
years ago.
Yeah.
Just because I thought it was easier to follow than Game of Thrones was, because when I was watching Game of Thrones, it was
Yes.
like, okay, I'm watching these, like, the like a million fucking characters spread across the
Yeah.
map, and I'm like, okay, like, why am I following this person? Like, what's happening? Like, is this person related to anything?
Yeah.
So
It throws a
I'm,
lot at you at once. I mean,
oh,
Game
for
of Thrones
sure. Mm-hmm.
had to start every single episode with its intro cinematic showing the areas that are going to be in the episode.
Mm.
Like, the intro for Game of Thrones is different every single episode because it's like the areas it
Oh.
shows in the intro are the areas that are going to be in the episode.
Oh, that's really cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
It's not always the same. It's like it's constantly. It's like if we're gonna have a scene in Marine, they're gonna show Marine building up in the intro. You know what I mean? If we're gonna have a scene in Winterfell, they're gonna show Winterfell in the intro. But if
Oh,
not,
that
they're
is
not gonna be
really
there.
cool.
Yeah. So it's like they let you know. Like they had to do that because they're like, hey, by the way, this scene takes place here, just in case you forgot or don't know. There you go.
Yeah.
So it's like it's such a like the scale of Thrones is so huge that like it is overwhelming when you start. Definitely, I was overwhelmed when I started.
Mm.
And Hot D is a lot more, contained and a lot more straightforward and a lot more, a lot more simple, but that doesn't mean it's
I
inferior
love
in
that
any
Hot D
way.
starts. I love that Hot D starts very simple, but becomes very complicated by the end of season 1, where
Oh
it's
my
like,
God, it's
okay,
like you're looking at you're looking at the family tree at the end and like what the
and it's
fuck?
like, what the fuck goes on here? Like,
Yeah.
this was so easy to follow 3 episodes ago. Like, what happened
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you want to start talking about Hot D, like in general?
In general, I'll start.
Okay, you go.
So there's a very specific episode of Thrones where the show started valuing spectacle over character, character studies or character, or dialogue or writing or conversation. And I want to preface this by saying I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think Game of Thrones was at the level of like, they made it to the point of the story where it's like they had to value spectacle over the smaller stuff, like the interconnectedness of the characters and stuff like that, because the White Walkers were coming. And it's like you have to have spectacle for that, and you have to have, you have to sacrifice a little bit of like the intricacies for that huge ass war because the scale was so huge. They ended up sacrificing a lot.
I mean, I heard.
Yeah, the scales tipped a little too much in favor of spectacle and not in favor of writing, but there's a very specific episode of Thrones where that happens, and it's one you've seen. It's season 5, episode 8, Heart Home. That is, I think, the episode of Game of Thrones that is the turning point of where the show started valuing spectacle, because it was in episode 8, just a normal episode, and then the last 20 minutes of the episode were all spectacle. Nobody was expecting it. It came out of nowhere, and that's why it was so amazing. And then after that, almost every single episode had to have something big happen in it, regardless if it was warranted or not. Like, they needed spectacle, you know what I mean? So it's like, this show reminds me so much of seasons 1 to 4 of Game of Thrones. And that's such a crazy good thing. Like, you don't even know, because it is mostly all about, the little intricacies between the characters, the relationships between the characters, who's controlling who's
like
scheming
that's like
who
the
wants to backstab
main
who,
thing about the show. Yeah.
who's jealous of who's better, like, against who, like, who, blah blah, all of that. And I think that's incredibly exciting, and just so, oh my God, I'm just so invested. I am so invested. And even though I know what happens, we'll talk about, like, the Dance of Dragons of it all. But even though I know the things that are going to happen, some of them at least, I still, I'm still so like, God, it's so much deeper than I ever thought. And like, I'm just really, really into it. Those are my overall thoughts about Hot D. Really incredible season that's filled with just an insane amount of focus on characters. Like, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really, really into it.
Bitch.
God, the season was so good.
Yes,
it was so good.
Bitch, I fully agree with everything that you said, because I love me some good character work. Okay. And all of these characters, even the quote unquote, like, and I know this is like a George R.R. Martin thing where all characters are like gray characters, but it is insane how every single character has like their own motives, their own little things, and like, like, it's little stuff like, okay, a conversation is happening and you're seeing different reactions by different people. Like, for example, something happens 2 episodes ago where Vaymond gets his head sliced in half, and you see how the characters react. And like, you see Helena like cover her ears, and like look, you see Aemond being kind of impressed. You see, like, it's insane. The characterizations of it all. Ooh, I love it. I love it.
And it's like, you miss the stuff like Rhaenyra nodding to Daemon right before that happens. It's like you completely miss that. And they don't even put the camera on it. But if you go back and rewatch, she nods to give the Daemon the okay to slice his head. Like, it's like, it's just the level of detail in everything, but in that is magnificent. And I loved it. And what I wanted to add was that it has the character focus of seasons 1 to 4, but it has some of the spectacle of season 5 to 8. There are some shots in this that are fully, CG, whatever, that look fucking incredible. In episode 10, the fight between the dragons looks insane.
Yeah, it was giving
When
like Harry Potter, like Lords of the
exactly
Rings.
Harry Potter was exactly what I was watching. Luke
Mhm.
writing the thing with Vayman, and Vayman is following him, and I'm like, this is a TV show. Like I'm watching a
Yeah.
TV show. You know what I mean? Whereas versus like when we were watching She-Hulk, you're like, oh, this is a TV show.
This is
You know what I mean? You
this is
know
a
what I
YouTube
mean?
sketch, bitch.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Ooh.
like I was just like and I knew what was about to happen, obviously.
Mhm.
But I was like looking at it, and I was like, this looks crazy. Like this is
Mhm.
insane. This is the finale of a TV show, and this is just like a small sequence, and it's like they probably worked like 6 months on this.
Mm.
And it's just crazy. So it has like the budget and the backing and some of the scale of the later seasons of Thrones, but all the character work of the earlier seasons of Thrones, and it's just incredible. And it was important because coming up, it's gonna be
Mhm.
all action, no breathing.
Oh,
So
period.
yeah, so this first season was essential to what's coming up next. So the stakes are higher because it's like if you did
Mhm.
not care about any of these characters, everything that's going to happen is not going to matter.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like this season was the building blocks. This season was like
It was
the
like introducing the
foundation.
players.
Yes, exactly. It was moving around the chess pieces, and now the chess pieces are set, and the first attack was made in the finale, and it's like it's
Mhm.
all gonna go to shit now.
It's
But it's like
so
I'm invested.
exciting.
Yeah, but it's like you're invested because they did so much great character work. So it's
Mhm.
like if anybody, gets hurt or dies, you're gonna care, even if it's people you don't like. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like I don't like Aemond, but I'm gonna care if he dies.
of
You know what I mean?
course.
Because it's
Of
like
course.
he's a
Yeah.
character that was in the show that I'm invested in, even though I hate
Mhm.
him. It's like that's hate is still you're still invested. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like yeah, it was just incredible work. God, I love the season so much. I
Bitch.
I I don't want to spend all this gushing over it,
Mhm.
but I mean, just great stuff.
Bitch, I am obsessed with the costume design. Like, is the costume
Incredible.
design in the original Game of Thrones this good?
Yes.
Insane.
Except in season
Insane.
1 where they didn't have that big of a budget.
Okay.
You get around season 3 and it's like the costumes are crazy good. What Cersei's outfit in the later
Mhm.
seasons of Thrones is probably my favorite piece of clothing in TV ever.
Oh, period.
She has some
Bitch,
great outfits.
that's how I feel about three particular looks in this show.
I know
One,
I know one of them is Rhaenyra's thing in the
yes,
finale.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, not the finale one. I actually really love
The
the
one with the little
pilot one.
dragon.
The the what?
The little dragon around the breast area.
In
It's
this
like gold
episode?
lining on the cleavage area.
In episode 10?
There was one in episode 8 too.
Oh, I didn't focus on it. No. I'm mainly talking about her episode 1 dress when she was like named Heir.
Yes.
Bitch,
Yeah.
that was stunning. Okay.
Yeah.
The red dress, that
Yeah.
one. Two, obviously Viserys's like last look, like
Gold
with the
mask.
half mask.
Yeah.
Ooh, stunning, giving Targaryen realness. We saw that. And finally, Alicent's look post um post Viserys' death.
The Faith of the
Alicent,
Seven look. The stars. The one with the
yes,
stars.
the one with the
It's
stars,
so fun. It's my favorite costume in the entire show.
and the one she wore in Aegon's coronation. Ooh, so good, so good.
They gave Alicent all the fashion moments.
Yeah,
One of her fashion moments is a moment. Period.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
so, it's like.
Oh my god, I love. I It's just the attention to detail. I love, 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 love. My
Yeah.
overall thoughts. Can I say my overall thoughts?
Oh, of course. Yeah, go ahead.
Bitch, I am obsessed. This sold me on the Thrones verse, and I have told you this in private, and I was saving it for the pod, but I I did decide that I will start watching Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
because I cannot get enough of this world. I cannot get enough of
You
like
will never get enough. It's
looking things up,
so.
and like it's such a rich world, and I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it.
And I did agree to a rewatch. I might rewatch it with you.
Yes, you
So
did.
there could be some possible Thrones content on the pod. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see.
We'll
Not
see. I
promising
mean, I
anything,
hope
but we'll
so.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bitch MK never gives promises, okay? um Yeah, I just loved the show. I loved the spectacle of it all. I told you this, like, the spectacle of Aegon's coronation is
Hmm.
insane. It felt like a
Yeah.
huge moment.
Yeah.
Um,
I can't
and
wait till we get to the later stuff that I know about, which is like,
mhm.
the show's gonna look insane.
I am so excited. But like the
Yeah.
fact that this show's gonna end when we're like close to our 30s is like, okay.
What
Um,
did you do the math? Is that
I
what's gonna?
did do the
Oh
math.
yeah, right. We're gonna be 28.
28, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh my god. That's if it gets 4 seasons. If it gets
Yeah,
3 seasons, we'll be like 26.
26. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I really loved this. I really, 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 really loved that the show starts with young Rhaenyra and young Alicent, and it's like, okay, you're introduced to these like young people, and you think that they're gonna be, at least well, you said that in the promos they showed that like they're gonna
Yeah.
age them up, but I felt like this was gonna be like a whole story with like these two kids, and as they grow up in this nasty backstabbing environment.
Yeah.
And I was so surprised when each episode kept jumping and jumping and jumping, and
Jumping
then
like just it's like insane jumps.
like insane, no like title card that says 10 years later, 5 years later, like you're just
Yeah.
like
You just
you just keep an
you have to discover it through dialogue.
yeah, you have to keep an
Yeah.
ear out in the beginning of the episode when they mention, oh yeah, this happened 6 years ago, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's been 6 years.
The only time
um
that was jarring for me, and we're gonna get into spoiler territory, we're gonna talk full spoilers, hot
mhm.
D. So it's like if general thoughts, we both loved it. We're gonna delve deep into spoilers and mentioning specific things. So if you don't want to listen to that, please go watch the show. It's incredible. The only time that I thought was jarring, which I told you about, was between the jump between 7 and 8, I think, where it's like Vayman shows up and he's like, "Hey, Corlys has been gone for 6 years," and it's like, "What? It's okay, work."
Yeah, I mean, it's
Um,
insane.
yeah, that was the only time that I thought it was jarring, but like, it was jarring overall because it's like Thrones. There wasn't a lot of time jumps in that show, like probably none. Like things would pick up right where they left off. Like I think, what was it? Season 2 ends with like Arya leaving on a ship or whatever, and then season 3 opens with Arya arriving to the destination of that ship. It's like that's the biggest time jump in the show.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like it was Thrones was very much like, okay, this happens right after this, right after this, like there's nothing crazy like a 10-year jump or 6-year jump or whatever they did here. So
And
it's
the thing
like
is, I know that
crazy.
they were rushing to get to this point in the
Yes.
finale, but it's just that season 2 and 3 are going to be so jarring because season 1 went by like so fast, and we were like jumping around and recasts and stuff, and it's
season 2 and 3 are gonna slow down. We're gonna go day by day. Okay.
period. Period.
Because like shit hits the fans daily. Like
I cannot wait. I'm so happy that I don't know what's coming up, and when I do watch Game of Thrones and they do mention the Dance of Dragons, I'm gonna close my ears, and I'm just not gonna. What?
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? And I had confused this with what they mentioned on the show. But okay, so here's what happens. So this show is based on something, a series of events called the Dance of Dragons. Dance of Dragons is basically like, surface level take on it is the war between Rhaenyra and Aegon for the crown, without getting into specifics. And it's like they mention it in Thrones in 2 episodes, and they mention Blood Peats. However, that's not where I know most of it from. Where I know most of it from is, and I just remembered this today, and I was like, oh my god, I made this incredible, like, I had this epiphany.
Okay.
When season 5 aired, in the Blu-rays, there was a special animated short, 20 minutes long, called The Dance of Dragons, and it had the events of the show, and I had seen it, and I'd forgotten that I'd seen it.
Okay.
So everything that I know about the dance could have either been mentioned on the show or wasn't that special, and I just completely blocked it out and thought they mentioned it on the show.
Is this what the thing you sent me was from?
Yes, it's from that.
Interesting.
Yes. So when the show started, when the season started, when the season was like jumping, I thought one of 2 things immediately. I was like, okay, the season is either going to end with Viserys dying or Luke being killed by Aemond. And because Luke being killed by Aemond is the inciting incident of the Dance of Dragons. Viserys dying allows the Dance of Dragons to happen. Luke getting lynched by Aemond.
That's like the first.
That's like the first,
it's the first
bloodshed.
attack. Like,
you know what? It's the first
yeah.
attack. It's the first bloodshed. The war starts now, and you see Rhaenyra at the end of this episode. It's like, fuck it. Like the restraints are off. You know what I mean? Like we're going to full out war.
Karis on these bitches. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like this whole, I don't know, like this whole season I've been like, and I think by midway through I'd realized it was going to be Luke dying because I was like, there's no way in hell Viserys stays alive until like there just that man was like dropping body parts every single episode. So it's like they're not going to stretch it out until episode 10. So I didn't think the episode would literally end with Luke dying. Like the season would literally end there, like he dies in like one more scene and then stop. But so like the whole season has been leading up to it, and just seeing how that just came to be, and like all the tension rising and the eye thing and stuff, like it's just like seeing how it all came together was wonderful. Do you know how many minutes in we are? So the short is 20 minutes. Do you know how many minutes we are in so far with this season?
I'm guessing 5.
5 minutes in.
Oh, period. Oh,
yeah. We're only 5 minutes in of the Dance of Dragons. So
I'm excited. I'm so excited because I know all of these players, and because like I kind of know where the tension is. Like I kind of sympathize with Aemond. I kind of sympathize with Aegon.
It's like, bitch, I'd be bitter if like some dude cut my eye off. You know what I mean? I'd be bitter.
Yeah, especially like as a kid. Yeah. But like the eye is gorgeous. Like the rhinestone that he put there. Ooh.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on now.
Like I loved it. By the way, I want to talk about the names in this show because Khalifa, this took me a long time. Like it is okay. Almost all the names in this show are like unique. They're not like real names.
That's what you are.
Exactly. They're not like real names. So it makes them hard to follow. But when you have so many names that sound similar to each other, like, okay, we have our main character, Rhaenyra, not to be confused with her aunt, Rhaenys, not to be confused with Rhaena, who's her stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we get introduced to like the set of twins, Eric and Arik. And it's like,
who literally look the same also.
Who look the same. And it's like, how am I supposed to follow this?
I think they're being played by the same actor. I'm not sure.
They are. Yeah, of course. Of course they are.
I think so. I think it might be also the case if like it might be the case that the actor has a twin in real life.
I mean, I could see both. And there's like Leonor and Lena, and then there's Daemon, not to be confused with Vaymond. Not to be confused with Aemond. Like Aemond, Vaymond, and Daemon are different people. There's Lucerys and Jacaerys, not to be confused with Jaehaerys. Like what the fuck? Like.
And then there's Corlys by himself. Like he was off screen almost half the season. The cameras were not allowed in the nursery room of Westeros, I fear. I love that the reveal that he's alive. He's just like lying in bed. I was like, oh, you're okay.
Yeah, but I think he wasn't he like in an island somewhere and then he just returned?
Yeah, he returned. He had returned last episode.
Oh, okay.
But he's like he had a fever. He broke the fever this episode.
Oh, per.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Black King right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Bitch, I want to talk about. Okay, I feel so robbed of us not having a spoiler cast with each episode because the conversations would be endless. And I want to address.
Oh my god, there's so much to talk about. I could talk about this for like 5 hours.
Yes, and like I want to talk about everything in the season, but it's like a lot of it we've already talked about in private.
Yeah, and it's also a lot of it has been overshadowed by the stuff in these last episodes. So it's like there was, oh my god, like I wish we'd at least done like midway through.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm really gonna miss the young Rhaenyra and young Alicent.
Me too.
And I see it that there's I really hate the backlash that the show is getting because it seems like these bitches get pissed over anything. Like, I think the recast was one of the first things that pissed a lot of people off. that were like, oh
I
my
really don't.
god.
I really didn't get. I really didn't think so. I really didn't get that vibe. But
Um,
I don't. I don't really
on
check Twitter.
Twitter. Okay, yeah, on Twitter it was a mess.
But like
And
Reddit was fine with it. Like I didn't see any complaints on Reddit. So
okay,
like I don't know.
which I would not be surprised about. But with each episode that I watched, at least live, there's been a lot of hate. Like especially these last two episodes received a lot of hate, which is very unwarranted. And I
These
feel like
last two,
these
I
last two
thought episode
episodes,
9
yeah,
was one of the best of the season.
episode 9 was amazing, but a lot of people hated that. Like, oh, why did Rhaenys come in with like the girl power dragon or whatever?
Shut
And
the
it's like,
fuck jail. I
yeah.
mean, okay, that doesn't happen in the books, and it's one of those things where it's like, so Fire and Blood, the book this is based on, the show is based on, is written from a perspective of an in-universe maester. Maesters, for those who don't know, are scholars. It's a general term for scholar. They could be doctors, they could be, book writers, they could be whatever. A maester is like someone who's studied. And Fire and Blood is written from a perspective of an in-universe maester, and he's biased, and he doesn't have concrete sources. And so, for example, in episode 9, when Kristen Cole, the raggedy bitch, kills Kristen Cole is the only character that I'm like, I hate you and I'm not invested. I hope you die. Yeah,
Bitch.
I don't care.
I love Alicent to death, but fuck her for not letting him kill himself on that wedding.
Exactly.
Oof.
Like, she should have just let him. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's smart of her. She has protection now. Like, she has Kristen Cole on her side. You know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah.
if we were fighting a war, I'd rather have Kristen Cole be on my side than be my enemy. You know what I mean?
What the fuck ever.
Yeah, so it's like when he kills the guy, for example, in the Green Council with the ball, in the book, the writer is like, well, I don't know what happened. I heard Kristen Cole slit his throat, but from another source, I heard Kristen Cole threw him out the window. But from another source, I heard this happen. So I don't know which one. So like, it's like that. The reason people have a problem with Rhaenys showing up on Meleys, I believe her dragon is, or Meleys.
I think it's Meleys or something like
that.
Meleys,
yes, exactly. Yeah. Thank you. The reason people have a problem with that is because like something like that happening would never not be mentioned in a book. You know what I mean? Would never not have any witnesses be like, holy shit, the dragon came and crashed and killed millions of people under it. Yeah. And like flew away. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. In the book, that doesn't happen. In the book, Rhaenyra finds out a different way.
Oh, period. Oh, okay.
Yeah. But in the book also...
I love that it happened, but I can tell that it's a last-minute edition. Let me just say that.
Yeah. And it's also in the books, and this is a change that I love. In the books, Alicent and Rhaenyra hate each other since they were children.
And Alicent is older than her.
Alicent is older than her.
They're not the same age. They're not like besties, which I love this change so much because it adds so much like tension between the two.
And in the books, all the characters are gray, but and this is a criticism I agree with. Before getting onto Alicent, I feel like the show makes Rhaenyra look really good. In the book, Rhaenyra is a lot more gray, because in the book, like they make it seem like Rhaenyra killed Laenor. Yeah. So it's like there's stuff like that where it's like, oh, Rhaenyra, you're a little rough. But in the show, they've been painting her really good, and it's like it's a little frustrating. But at the same time, Alicent is like a lot worse in the books, a lot meaner in the books. In the Green Council room, Alicent, instead of fighting for Rhaenyra in the books, she's like, well, fuck that whore. Maybe she's gonna die from childbirth.
Oh,
like the whore she is or whatever.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
God.
Yeah. So it's like they do a lot of damage control for both Rhaenyra and Alicent, and it's more even, and I appreciate that. But like, I also wish they were both like as aggressive as they were in the books and in the Dance of Dragons story. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll get to that point. Like, I don't know. That's the interesting point. Like Rhaenyra at the end of this season looks like she's like, the final shot.
Mad Queen coming.
The Mad Queen is coming. Exactly. The predecessor, honey, to the real thing. So it's like, so I don't know. Maybe they'll get to that point. But like the way Alicent has been set up, I don't see her being like an uber bitch. You know what I mean? Like the way Cersei was.
I do. I feel like she's been burnt a lot. And Actually, what I really love about those the little behind the scenes stuff that they release with each episode is
Hmm.
how they describe that these two girls are doing their best, and how like what scorches them is the patriarchy around them, and like the male figures
Yes.
put them
Yeah.
up against each other, and the male figures are like
Hmm.
whispering in their ears and like are in control of them and stuff. And
Hmm.
I find that really cool. And I
Just
can
before I
see.
get to mention
Yeah.
something related to this that I really love,
Mm-hmm.
and that I've not seen a lot of people mention. And sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay.
Best. I love the way, because like the show starts and Rainey is like, ugh, whatever, towards Rhaenyra, and in
Yeah.
this episode you can see how proud she was
Mm-hmm.
that a
Mm-hmm.
queen is actually being a queen. Like a woman is
Yes.
sitting on the Iron Throne, and she's all smiles and shit. And it's like, I love that, because like, Rhaenys is bitter that she didn't get the crown, and I would be too, because she was a woman,
Mm-hmm.
solely because she was a woman and no other reason.
Mm.
And it's like, so at the beginning of the show, she's like, "You're not going to change the rules. This is useless. Whatever. Blah blah. You look like a clown saying, "Oh, I'm gonna make new rules. Whatever." And then by the end of the show, she's like, "Well, maybe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Maybe this could work.
Maybe this could work." And she's like all smiling and shit. We'll
I
see how it
love
turns out,
that. I love.
Bessiani.
I
Yeah.
love the all of the parallels. I feel like I feel like this show would be a great rewatch, just
Mhm.
because, like, knowing where these characters are, at least
Mhm.
now at this point, is very interesting. Like, for example, remember in the third episode when Aegon was born, and they were doing like the hunt,
Mhm.
and remember how the white, what is it called, white,
The white deer thing.
the white deer thingy, that
Yeah.
creature,
Yeah.
remember how like it showed up for Rhaenyra, and it
Rhaenyra.
was like,
Yeah.
it's a thing that shows up to the person that's supposed to be like the royal person, whatever. Anyways, she
Yeah.
sees that creature, but she kills a bear instead and takes the bear back. When
Mhm.
she takes the bear back, a lot of people look at her like with kind of like disgust,
And
except
Harwin is
for
horny.
Harwin
Yeah.
Strong. He's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I dig that. Uh, and even like in the wedding, the night of the wedding, Harwin is the one that like takes her out and
Yeah.
like carries her out.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, it's insane, because at that point you'd think that she would end up with Kristen Cole.
Yeah.
Did you think that they were gonna end up together, or?
I knew about the strong stuff, so
Ah, okay.
yeah. So, but like, and I was actively looking for little moments like that, and I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, that's cute. That's really cute."
Ah, bitch, lucky. I was Khalifa. I was living my Romeo and Juliet fantasy with like Kristen and Rhaenyra in the beginning. I'm like,
Ooh,
okay, this is
the way
cute. Like
Kristen
the princess,
shifted.
bitch. I was like, this is the princess and her white knight. And like when they had sex, I was like, oh, this is so romantic. I love this. And then, bitch,
2 episodes later, Kristen's
the
like,
rug was
"Rainier is a
swept from
cunt."
under me, and I bashed my head down like the ball in the council room. Bitch, this was the fucking turnaround. He became my least favorite character. I fucking hate this
I
guy.
knew. So this is what's so interesting. So I knew
Mhm.
that Kristen would be on the greens, and I
Ah.
was like, "How?" Because they never explain it.
Mhm.
As far as I know, I haven't read the book. They never explain it in either the Game of Thrones when they talk about the dance, or that little animated special. From what I remember of it, at least.
Mhm.
And like they show you the explanation, and it's like, oh, that's how he ended up with the greens, because like he's firmly Team Black at the
Mm.
beginning. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, it's crazy. Like that's what I love about like knowing stuff. It's like, well, I know Kristen ends up on the greens. Like, what is gonna take him
Like,
there? Like,
what
what
makes
is gonna
him
happen?
end up
You know what
there?
I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's really cool to see everything come together like this. It's so
Bitch,
cool.
fuck this bitch. He was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna just be your whore or whatever." And it's like he went on living. I wouldn't say that he's living in misery, but he kind of is. While
And also,
Harwin
I
was
have a
living.
controversial opinion about Kristen Cole.
Yeah.
He is not hot enough to be acting like that.
Um, I would say in the beginning of the show, like I thought
He
so,
is,
but
listen, okay, he is good looking. He is good looking, and like he's good looking, but it's like he's no Jamie Lannister. You know what I mean?
I don't know who
So
that
it's
is.
like,
But
Jamie is Cersei's brother /
Oh, the
lover.
one that was like fucking her at the end of
Yeah,
episode 1. Okay,
yeah.
her.
I mean, he's probably the prettiest one in this show, which is something I appreciate, by the way. There's not a lot of gorgeous people in this show, um, at least on the male side. Uh,
Okay, I was about to say there's a lot of really good-looking women in this show.
yeah, but like not a lot of good-looking men, interestingly.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate that because it's like,
Bitch,
incest.
Damon, like the girlies have been thirsting over.
Listen, I read this thing and I thought it was so hilarious. It said like Matt Smith is attractive, but not in a non-incest way, because Matt Smith
What?
looks like he was the product of incest.
Bitch, that's not
Kind
nice.
of.
That is not kind.
That's kind of out of pocket, but he does kind of look really weird. So,
I mean,
and
I
it
get
fits the
that.
role. Like, and it's like everyone in this show, all the men at least,
Mhm.
like they have a little something off. You know what I mean? And that's either like with the makeup or like just normally. It's like they cast them very specifically to be like, hey, these are the products of incest, by the way, and sometimes incestuous children don't look
I
right
think you have a
always.
point. Like, I was sitting in, she hasn't moved at all. Okay. She didn't even quiver. Okay.
I mean, Sir Harwin.
Huh?
Sir Harwin, maybe a little.
I don't even remember what he looks like. I'm sorry.
He has giant lips, I will say.
Oh,
His mouth
bitch! I
had a
only
really
remember
big
his
mouth.
hair.
His hair was also
Bitch,
cute. Right.
you know Laris is a freak.
Who's Oh, bitch, we know. It's
Bitch,
not.
yeah,
We know for sure.
we did
The
find
bitch
out.
loves feet.
Oof.
Yeah.
Anyways, ew. Whatever. We'll get to theories later.
Yeah.
What was I saying about Kristen Cole? Yeah, he was like, I'm not gonna be your whore. I'm gonna live in honor. But like, what kind of honor are you living in now? And
I don't know. He is literally the most hypocritical person on the show because, like, in episode 6, he calls Rhaenyra a cunt.
yeah,
And then in episode 9, he's like, we have to respect all women or whatever. So I'm like,
as if they're mothers or like what?
Yeah. And it's like, bitch, what the fuck are you like? I just, he's my least favorite character out of everyone.
Bitch,
like, I hate Kristen
him.
Cole.
Bitch, the Eric twins are only in like 2 episodes, and I love them a lot more.
I like
than
them
him.
more than Kristen Cole. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like Kristen Cole's one of those characters. It's like he's not even fun to hate. He's just like shut the fuck up. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like I remember whenever I hate to keep bringing Cersei up. I wish there was an equivalent in this show.
Mm-hmm.
But like whenever
we will
Cersei
get one. Alicent will become that.
Oh, I hope so. I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her to be that.
Mm-hmm.
But like Cersei was like, I like, you have no idea how much I hated Cersei, and she was my favorite character in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I used to get excited whenever Cersei was on screen because I'm like, she's about to say some shit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but it's like, oh, I hate you because like you're killing all the good people. But it's like, oh my god, I love Cersei so much, and I would like. Kristen Cole isn't that. Kristen Cole is like, oh my god, just shut the fuck up, don't talk. You know what I mean? Just please don't be on screen. I don't want to see you.
I kind of feel that way towards Aemond a little bit. I actually really like Aemond. Like I like to hate him.
I think I felt like that. I like to hate Aemond too, and I felt and I showed them showing it that he didn't mean to kill Luke. I feel like is also another layer of like.
Yes, that made me like him a lot more.
You know what I mean?
The biggest problem that I had with Aemond is the 6-year jump. He is a completely different person between those two, like before the time jump and after the time jump. And I mean, like, the last we see of him, like his eye gets cut off and whatever, and like he's kind of like he becomes like a little bit vicious, but it's just a drastic change.
Yeah. And I feel like the ending of him being like, oh shit, like what the fuck did I do? Kind of restores that a little bit of being like, oh, he's still kind of like the little, like kind of, he's like not a terrible person, not fully, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. Although I will say, the fact that like 2 of the biggest things that happened in the Dance of Dragons so far have been accidents, not a fan. Because it's like, you know, Viserys tells Alicent that he wants Aegon to be king, and Alicent misunderstands it. That's an accident. And then this is an accident. But I think it's going to be interesting how he reacts to it. Like, if he's going to go back, when he goes back, is he going to be like, yes, I did it?
I think he will. I think
Or
he will.
he's gonna own it, you think? He's gonna be like, yes, I intended to kill Luke.
So not to his mother, but to everyone else.
Because
I
in the
think.
book,
Mm-hmm.
he intends to kill him. But that could be one of those things where it's like people heard that Aemon said he owned up to it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know.
Bitch. All of like, yeah. I think he's gonna go back. He's gonna cry to his mom, and then he's gonna be like, "What do I do? What do I do?" And then I don't know. Like, I don't think Alicent is gonna tell him to like own it, but I think he'll own it like out of his own image. Like, he doesn't want to be the person that accidentally killed someone. It's like, I don't know. He'll be put in a position where like, hey, the last person that wronged me, look what happened to him. I let my dragon eat him. So none of you dare touch me or whatever the fuck. Anyways, this whole thing was giving Harry Potter like the second half of Harry Potter, like the later entries.
By the way, loved Storm's End. You hear about Storm's End in the show in Game of Thrones. We never go to it, but it's like you hear that it's a castle, Baratheon castle, that's always storming. Like it's never not stormy.
Interesting.
And it's like you always imagine what that's like, but they never show it on Thrones because none of the characters go there. They finally showed it here. This has been like a big thing people have been wanting for years, and like it delivered.
Like, it looked really cool. I loved it.
The vibe is so cool.
I loved it.
It's so oppressive. Yeah.
It was. I was saying the whole thing was giving like Harry Potter, like with like Lucerys, like, like he's this young boy coming in, and bitch Aemon looking like a fucking like Malfoy Death Eater kind of.
Aemon looks like a Slytherin.
He looks like a Slytherin. He looks like a Malfoy. Yeah. He looks like one of the Death Eaters. Like, the wig was laid, mama. Like,
it's been laid.
Bitch, all the wigs have been laid in this show. Okay.
Oh, except young Lena. Oh.
Young Lena. Ooh. Yeah.
That was a party city.
And young Laenor as well. Young Laenor didn't have a
yeah. There were no black people on the team, I fear.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, they had not one single black person in the wig department because not a single black person would have let that hair go out.
Bitch, I love the Valerian's hair though. Like, I love that it's like kind of like, they're kind of like dreads, and it's like they're white.
Corliss's dreads have been laid since episode 1, I will say.
Yes.
Corliss's dreads have been slaying since day 1.
The bundles are bundling.
The bundles are bundling, exactly, yeah.
So, okay. Do you want to talk about the finale specifically? I feel like we brushed on it. Like, I think I've said. So you liked the finale, right?
I think it's probably my least favorite episode of the show.
Oh.
But of the season. Yeah. Oh. Or maybe second least. But I still thought it was great. Yeah.
Bitch, least? Okay. It's in my bottom 4, but
this has been an incredible season. Like, I thought it was really great, but it's like you're amongst.
Bitch, episode
3 this is an 8 out of 10 amongst the 10.
3 was not
10s out of 10.
that good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but episode 3.
I mean, even episode 3 is like an 8.
I'll give episode 3 a 7. I'd give episode 3 a 7. Episode 3 is the episode where Daemon and Corlys go and battle the crab feeder.
The weird stepson. I would give episode 3 a 7. But it's like, if the worst episode of a season is a 7, the bar is high.
Oh yeah, the bar is really high. Yeah.
Because the worst episode of the last episode, the worst episode of the last show we saw was like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah,
She-Hulk. And it was like not one episode; it was like 4 episodes.
Khalifa, I almost after the finale. So I liked the finale. I didn't dislike it, but also
you didn't hate it. Okay.
I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it even. I liked it. But I think maybe this is due to the fact of the impressions that I've been seeing online from the leaks, because oh my god, like all of it has been popping up. I knew that Lucerys was gonna die, and I heard of this like thing about Daemon betraying Rhaenyra, and it's like he's gonna turn her back on her, whatever, and like the girlies were crying on Twitter, and bitch, I understand he choked her, and like a sign of like abuse, but he didn't turn her back on her. Like he's still on her side, like.
I think they're saying that he's showing signs of like not fully being Team Black. You know what I mean? Like,
if anything, I saw that as that's a sign of him. Like, okay, we heard that all he wanted was his brother's approval, and hearing that Viserys didn't trust him with the prophecy, like, just got to him. Like, I don't know. It's like this lifelong trauma that he has that just came out.
And then he goes and tries to claim Jaehaerys's dragon. I don't know what that scene was. So the dragon in the cave is Jaehaerys's dragon, the old fart at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
So it's and nobody has claimed it since Jaehaerys died, and I'm not sure what Daemon was doing there, because
Daemon singing it a lullaby.
Why? But Daemon can't claim him because he already has Caraxes.
Caraxes, yeah.
Yeah, but what? Like, did he chop off Caraxes' head so he can claim this guy? Because Jaehaerys' dragon, this one, the name is escaping me, is the second biggest dragon. Like it's slightly smaller than Vhagar.
Oh, okay.
So, and as we've seen this episode, they're gonna need big dragons because, like, I love at the beginning of the episode they were like, "We have 14 dragons, they have 4." Bitch, they have a Star Destroyer. Okay, like Vhagar. Like, I love in the finale and the fight scene they show just how big Vhagar is, because like Luke's dragon is big. Like,
bitch, no, not really, because
but like comparatively,
Luke,
it's like compared to human size. I mean,
sure, but like when Luke, Jace, and Rhaenys were like leaving on Dragonback, you could see that he had like a tiny dragon compared to them.
But they were like almost, I don't know, like it wasn't the size difference. Size difference is insane. Like, I just love that they show how big fucking Vhagar is this episode.
Yes.
Like, he was like fucking huge.
Insane, yeah. And I love that we can tell these dragons apart.
Yeah, because I will say in Game of Thrones, Drogon and I forget the name of the two. They literally look like palette swaps.
Oh, per.
They were literally the same it was literally the same model but different colors. You couldn't tell the difference between them. If it was a dark scene, like I was like, who's Dany riding? I don't know. And also, Dany rides 3 dragons, so it's like, I love here. It's like every dragon is associated with a rider.
Yes,
where it's like even if you can't tell, it's like, oh, Meleys is right. Rhaenys is riding Meleys, like, because it's Rhaenys. Whereas Dany was like, you have 3 dragons, and it's like, I can't tell who the fuck you're riding.
No, and I love how like unique they look, because like Daemon's dragon has like a really long neck, and it's like, okay, like you can recognize him like very easily, and
even without colors,
which is recognizable.
Yeah, even without colors, which is great.
Yes, yeah.
Like Vhagar, you can tell from, like, Vhagar just looks old.
Yeah.
So it's like you can tell. You can tell. Cyrax looks the most. Rhaenyra's dragon looks the most like
generic.
Daenerys' dragons, generic for lack of a better term. Nothing really is going on there. Meleys kind of looks like a queen a little bit. I don't know why. Like, I get queen vibes from Meleys. Maybe it's because
something about Daemon.
She's called the Red Queen. I don't know.
Oh yeah, she is called the Red Queen. Yeah. But you said something about Daemon chopping off Caraxes' head.
Yeah.
What? When did that happen?
Oh no, I'm theorizing. Like, did Daemon kill Caraxes so he can claim?
Is Caraxes dead?
I don't know. I'm just theorizing.
Oh, okay. Like he killed it off, like, off screen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's like they can gag us next time or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe, because like the Daemon and Aemond feud is coming, like, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
These two bitches are gonna fight
for sure. I think so. This was a huge plot point, and this caused a lot of confusion. Because Lena asked Vhagar to burn her, and people are like, "Oh my god, I thought Targaryens were fireproof." Guys, only Daenerys is fireproof. Only Daenerys is fireproof. It's not a Targaryen thing. It's a Daenerys thing. Okay?
Why is Daenerys fireproof?
There's some magic stuff involved there.
Okay.
But like
Okay.
Daenerys is fireproof, and Daenerys can also ride multiple dragons. Blah blah blah.
Her.
That's why she's called Stormborn, you guys. It's just a Daenerys thing. It's not, it's not a Targaryen thing. Because when Lena died of Dragonfire, Reddit and Twitter were fucking flooded with like, how did this happen? The continuation is like the continuity is so off. Like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's only Daenerys is the only person that's fireproof. It's not a Targaryen thing. Please stop, because I'm still seeing like it's still being brought up, and it's so frustrating because they make it very clear on Thrones that Daenerys is the only one that's fireproof. They don't say,
And
they never say it's a
Daenerys
Targaryen
is
thing.
not the only Targaryen in Game of Thrones.
And not at the beginning, no, or the end.
Like
Yeah.
she's not the only one.
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, like it seems like one of those things that like people would overlook and just like, just go crazy
but
over.
It's just, I was so shocked about the amount of people that were saying that. I'm like, you guys, no, stop. So yeah, I thought Lena was gonna last longer. I will say, like, I was shocked.
Me too. And actually, I'm shocked that Luke died this early. Like, I thought that her kids would play like a huge part. I mean, Luke did play is playing a huge part right now.
Yeah.
His death is playing a huge part, but I'm surprised. Like, I thought like I would see them like grow older and stuff. I don't know.
No,
I
I
really
thought
sad.
I thought it was coming. I was just shocked at the death, at how he died, because in the books,
gruesome.
It's fucking gruesome because in the books and in the animated short, Vhagar kills the dragon. He doesn't kill Luke. Luke just dies. Luke just falls into the water and dies. Like he drowns. Whereas here, like Vhagar fucking bites the shit out of both of them.
Bitch, and like the blood like splattering, and
you can see Luke's cape like falling. It's like, oh my god. Ugh.
Yeah, this is gruesome, especially like especially to a kid. And like Luke is like so kind. Like he does not deserve this. Well,
Corlys is gonna be pissed.
Yeah, there's barely a character, but for sure, bitch, for sure.
Because wasn't Corlys talking to him and being like, "Hey, you're gonna rule Driftmark"?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't like it. This is gonna cause a lot of trouble. This is just gonna cause a lot of trouble. I'm so excited.
Bitch, I cannot wait to rewatch this before season 2 comes out because, like I'm definitely gonna rewatch this one before.
Me too. 2 years is a long time. Yeah,
it's a long time.
You need to remember the intricacies of the characters and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna rewatch.
And I don't. So, in Game of Thrones, only 2 seasons have a 2-year gap, but every other season is like there's a 1-year gap. So,
picks either like a smaller gap or like picks up right where they left off. Yeah, like season 6 picks up almost immediately after season 5 ends.
No. I mean like the gap like in the real world.
Oh, in terms of release, you mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, all of them, seasons 1 to 6 were a year apart, like year by year, and then 7 and 8 each took 2 years, I think.
I think 7 and 8 were a year apart.
They skipped a year, so 2 years.
They skipped a year?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And they put in the Game of Thrones slot that year. They put in Westworld season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But bitch, 2 years for a season is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So, I will say this wasn't their intention. I did tell you this not too long ago, but like just for the listeners, this wasn't their intention. Filming was supposed to start late this year, for the season to be completed late next year and air late next year. So like the initial release date was going to be August 2023, something like that. But filming was pushed because of reasons, trademark. I don't know why.
Sure.
Because Miguel Sapochnik left the show. So
who?
Miguel Sapochnik.
Who's that?
The showrunner.
He left?
Yeah, he left.
So he's not going to come back for season 2?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's just going to be Ryan, the co-creator.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Bitch.
He might direct an episode or 2, but like he's not going to be the showrunner of season 2.
Okay. Is that worrying though? Like,
No,
okay.
because I think the show is what it is because of Miguel, obviously a great writer, but like also because of Ryan, who is
Mhm.
the who is George R. R. Martin as the co-creator of the show.
Oh, okay.
So we're still safe. Like it's not that
Bitch,
big
I
of a
hope the
deal, but
kids
like
don't
yeah.
age that much since we're starting right after this.
They're gonna start filming early next year,
Mhm.
and I don't think they're gonna age. I don't think anybody's in that. Like I think the youngest actor on the show is like 19,
Oh, okay.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and so don't change that much. You know what I
Bitch,
like?
what about
Nobody's. I
Joffrey's
think.
actor?
Oh yeah, that's gonna get a recast.
Oh,
He's getting recasted down for sure, for
probably.
sure. Like it's not even close.
Probably.
And it's not the first time they do it. Like in Game of Thrones, Tommen was recast.
Oh, I don't know who that is, but okay.
Oh, okay. Cersei's kid.
Oh, okay. Per.
Yeah, he was recast. Yeah, so it's like they do it sometimes. It's fine.
Interesting.
But yeah, like from the players that are here, I don't think anybody's getting recast because they look older or whatever. Like everybody's gonna stay the same, I think.
Bitch, I hope Reese Ifans is like styled differently because the bitch went through 20 years looking the exact same. Season
I
one,
hope he's
it
still
takes.
alive when filming comes around. Let's just say that.
Ooh, ooh.
That man is old. That man is old. Okay, so it's
But
like
he's carrying. Okay, so I
yeah,
need
but
him
it's
to
like
be
let's
alive.
get to filming, please,
Yeah,
because like we're on a time limit a little bit. You
yeah,
know what
that's
I
true.
mean?
That's true.
Yeah.
Um, do you want to talk theories
Let's talk theories.
or predictions? Okay. Do you even
Can I
have
just
theories
start
or
with the biggest
predictions? Because
theory?
I feel like you know a lot. Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay, so this is not. What were you gonna say before we jump into it?
I was gonna say, like, do we even do predictions and theories for you? Because I feel like you already know a lot, right? So,
I feel like most of what I know has already happened.
okay. Oh, okay. Period.
Like I know this, and I know how like the very end game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about anything that happens in the middle except like names of things like the Battle of Blank
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what
Okay.
happens. You know what I mean? So it's like I know the scale of what's to come. I don't know the results. I don't know where it goes. I don't know who does what. I don't know who backstabs what. I don't know who
Bitch, and I
betrays
hope we
who. I
don't
don't know
find
who
out
dies.
in these next like 8 years.
Good luck with that.
Ugh.
It's literally everywhere.
Bitch, there's only one thing I know. I know by name, and I don't know what really happens in it. Something about cheese.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, that I just know the name,
I don't.
but I don't
I
know what
still.
that is.
I too don't. I too don't know what that's about.
Okay. Okay, what's your big theory?
Like
Let's
I
start.
don't know what that's about too. I've heard what you're talking about though. Okay, I have a big theory, and it's kind of not related to House of the Dragon,
Oh, okay.
which is gonna be crazy. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the Jon Snow sequel series is gonna retcon the White Walker stuff and be a soft season 9 for Game of Thrones because of how much they're mentioning the prophecy.
Oh, okay. So, should they not be mentioning the prophecy this much?
It's not in the book, so no.
Mm.
They keep mentioning the prophecy and uniting the realm, blah blah blah, and Targaryen has to be on the throne, blah blah blah. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking back to season 8, and I'm like, okay, mention it in the first episode, whatever. But to keep bringing it up, B at the end of Game of Thrones, the realm was not united,
Mm.
and Daenerys never sat on the throne.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So like, the prophecy could still be fulfilled. I think for sure they're gonna retcon season 8 and be like, hey, this whole
This
White Walker
wasn't
stuff, this
the
is not
bad
the end of them. This
bitch.
was just like an intermediate thing. The Night King isn't the big baddie after all. There's a bigger bad, and
The
that's
Night
what the Jon Snow
Queen
series is going to be
is
about.
coming.
Yeah,
Bitch, I hope that
exactly.
is the Night Queen. Well, bitch, I think people are gonna be more mad if they do that.
I don't think so. I think everybody's itching for it.
Really?
Yeah, the vibe after season 8 was like please just pretend this season didn't happen and make the final season an animated. Like, people want to retcon season 8 badly.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the Jon Snow sequel series is the way to do it.
I mean,
and I feel like it's being telegraphed
yeah.
so much because they keep mentioning the fucking prophecy and like uniting the realm against the Long Night and the White Walkers. And it's like, the more they keep mentioning the prophecy, the more I'm like, well, the prophecy was never fulfilled in the show, in Game of Thrones. So it's like, are they, hinting at something here? I don't know. Why would you bring it up this much?
But I mean, I heard that in the show itself, it was brought up multiple times, right? Like in Game of Thrones.
In the Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Not the same prophecy. There's another prophecy about the prince that was promised that is different than Aegon's prophecy.
Are you sure? Because Alt
Yes.
Shift X, my Lord and Savior, said something about
Azor Ahai.
Azor Ahai. What's that?
Azor Ahai, the prince that was promised. Yes, the prophecy in
Azor
the Game of Thrones
Ahai.
show.
Okay.
Yeah. There's this prophecy about the prince that was promised that will defeat the White Walkers in the Game of Thrones show.
Mm-hmm. And someone at some point tells Daenerys that she is that person.
Yeah. A Missandei, Daenerys's friend, slave girl, whatever, the slave girl that she freed, is like, hey, by the way, the translation is incorrect. It's prince or princess. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's you, girl.
Okay.
And it's like, but like, and that prophecy is fulfilled? ? Also, not really. Because there's also like stuff about uniting the realm in it and whatever. And it's like, it's never specifically mentioned that it was fulfilled. You're just supposed to assume, like, people assumed it was Jon Snow. People assumed it was Daenerys. Like, oh, the prince that was promised is going to kill the Night King. Arya killed the Night King.
Well, Arya is the prince that was promised.
But the rest of the prophecy does not fit Arya. It fits Daenerys and Jon. So it's like,
interesting.
So it's like, is the Night King not the person that
Bitch, what is this mess?
Yeah. So it's like, is the Night King not the person that was supposed to be killed? You know what I mean? So it's like there's a lot of hints that are like, oh, the prophecy was never fulfilled. Blah blah blah, and they keep fucking mentioning this fucking prophecy in this show. Like, they keep hammering on it. It's like, they know people want to forget the original show when they watch this because it ended really badly. And it's like, you would never bring something from the original show this much unless you were going to retcon it.
You know what, bitch? I trust your judgment in these sort of things because you tend to catch a lot of time, when something is being telegraphed, you catch it immediately, and I completely miss out on it. So I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
I'm getting the vibe. I'm getting that vibe from it. And speaking of telegraphing,
if the show is greenlit, let's just say that.
If the show's, we still don't know exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of telegraphing, Luke's death was so telegraphed this episode that I thought they weren't going to do it.
Oh, really? Why?
I thought they were making it so obvious. So, like, the first scene Luke is in, he tells his Rhaenyra she's perfect, and they have like a moment. And then when Rhaenyra sends him off, she like holds his hand and hugs him or whatever, and she's like,
for like longer than she does with
Days.
Yeah,
and she's like, go, you'll be safe. They're expecting a great blah blah blah. And obviously, I had in my head, I knew it was going to happen on his way back, but it was just so telegraphed. I was like, they're making it so obvious. Is it going to be a twist that it doesn't happen?
Bitch, I feel like that would have sent everyone like up into flames.
Because they did it with Laenor, but Laenor is not a character in the larger picture.
Yeah, at all.
Whereas Luke is. He starts the Dance of Dragons. So it's like how I would have felt about that. Like, I was glad that it happened, but I was like, this is so telegraphed. This is so unlike Thrones ever.
Yeah.
It was so telegraphed. I thought it was so telegraphed.
Bitch,
anyways,
I was happy actually because that was one of the things that got spoiled for me. So I was like, oh, okay, it's kind of obvious that he's gonna die. Okay, period.
Yeah, they made it very obvious. Like, I was so shocked. They made it very obvious.
Bitch,
and I think
they
made it obvious because I think there was an intention behind that because they wanted you to feel dread, because my butt was clenched during the
for sure
the episode.
Bitch, the fucking
like, you can feel something is about to happen to him.
I didn't know how he would die. I just knew he would die when he got there, and like Vhagar is fucking parked outside. Like, it's like,
It's like,
ooh,
oh shit.
oh my god, like, bitch, that's fucking scary. And like walking in and like Aemon is already there, and it's like,
Bitch,
oh, bitch,
if I'd
attention.
seen Vagar, I would have just turned back
I would bounce.
without even going in.
Yeah, bitch.
I'd go back to Rhaenyra and be like, listen, the Greens got to him first.
They got here first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, bitch.
Anyways,
I
what
didn't
were you
ask
gonna
you the
say?
big question. The big question: Team Black or Team
What is it?
Green?
Okay. Team Black, but with the addition of Alicent, because Alicent is my favorite character in the show.
Mm-hmm. Okay, bitch.
The rest of the family, like, fuck the kids. I don't care.
Okay. Can I say
Including that dumb bitch Lena, even though she's innocent.
What did Lena do?
Because fuck the kids in general. Like, she's part of the kids. I'm sorry. Like, your collateral damage.
Par. Bitch, I was purely Team Black. But there's something about these last 2 episodes, and I'm like, Team Green does have like a lot of flair. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they have a lot of flair.
Listen, I will say I'm much more interested in the Greens than the Blacks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, same.
I feel like
same.
they're more interesting.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a much more like dysfunctional side, and like they're a lot more unpredictable than the black team are. But
yeah, which is insane because Daemon is on the Blacks.
Bitch, I was about to say we need to have the Daemon conversation, because what the fuck happened to Daemon? Like, after he got married, like, it did Rhaenyra, like, okay, I don't know how to say this in English, but like, Saneta.
Did Rhaenyra ground him, you mean? The ground him as a person?
yeah. But like in a more, I guess, vicious sense.
Maybe, like, I don't know what happened. Listen, since day one, I didn't think, like, people love Daemon. I never thought he was that interesting to begin with. But like, yeah, after episode 5, episode 6, he's like, he lost most of his complexity. He's just there. I did like this episode. They show Daemon's still there when he chokes Rhaenyra. Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's just like the Greens have overtaken like the complexity, because it's like, I love the Blacks. Don't get me wrong. And like, I like Daemon as a character, and I like Luke and Jace and Bela and Rhaena. I don't count Rhaenys and Corlys as part of the Blacks or Greens, by the way. They're kind of question, even though they're now backing the Blacks. I don't know. They seem a little
not
fickle.
Really like, yeah, you never know.
It's like, Rhaenys keeps saying, I have to stand on my own. I'm not going to start this war. That's the reason she didn't, breathe on the thing. So it's like, they're gray, and they're in the gray area. Even though they're officially backing the Blacks, they're still, I don't know.
Yeah, they're like their own thing.
Yeah, like, I love the characters on the Blacks, but like, it's just the Greens are so much more complex, like Otto and Alicent, and even Aemond,
even Aegon and Aemond, yeah.
Even Aegon and Aemond, yeah. Even Helena with her prophecies and like weird shit. It's like, they're just so much more interesting to me. So it's like, that's why I like episode 9 was, to me, part of the reason episode 9 was so incredible, and the finale was a little disappointing, because episode 9 was all Greens, and it's like, you get to see that complexity on full blast, and then you get to episode 10 and it's like Rhaenyra being a good person, and it's like, okay. You know what I mean?
I cannot, like, bitch, Hunter Schafer wants to be Emma Darcy so bad. Like, I just know.
Exactly.
Bitch, I just know. Bitch, I would love if they do like a 30-year time jump for Euphoria, and like Emma Darcy plays Jules.
Emma Darcy plays
Jules.
Jules. That would be great.
Bitch, that would be great. Like, she's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Team Green is like a lot more interesting. I am Team Black, and I do want Team Black to win. I don't agree about Daemon losing his complexity. I think, for me, he gained a lot of complexity after he married Rhaenyra, and like, he kind of like, he quiets down a little bit, and I'm like, an interesting side.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean complexity that way. What I meant, because I do agree with you.
Mm.
Seeing
Like
him as
he's
like a
less
father
unhinged,
and
I
stuff,
guess.
like he lost his edge. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
very.
that's what I meant.
Per, bitch. Predictions. Okay, so you know everyone that dies, right?
No,
Oh, you don't.
no.
Okay. Bitch, I only know about one person surviving, like this whole thing, but I'm not gonna like say. But
Don't say it because I genuinely might not know.
okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
won't say. I'm
yeah.
surprised the person survives, to be honest. But sure. Yeah. Period. Bitch, do you think
Oh, I know
Renice?
who it is.
Do you think Renice dies?
I know who it is. Corliss.
You know for sure, or like, is this a guess?
It's half guess, half I kind of know for sure. Sorry for the spoilers, audience, but I think it's Corliss. Yeah, don't confirm or deny, but I think that's what you're talking about.
Okay. Do you think Rhaenys is gonna die in this show?
Sadly, yeah.
Bitch, if
She's
she
too
dies,
she,
she
she's too
needs
much
to
of a girl
die.
boss
Like,
to live until the end.
bitch, she needs to die like a warrior's death. She needs to have like a super dramatic, like heroic death.
Yeah. I feel like her death is gonna be like someone's gonna backstab her though. Like literally, or something like that.
Oh, I see
Or
her
she's
like
gonna kill
dying in a
herself.
battlefield. I see her dying in a battlefield, like with like a dragon or
I
something.
don't I feel like the characters you expect to die like that are the ones that go away sadly. Because like in the original show, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, Cersei's gonna have a badass death because I knew my girl was not gonna make it till the end. She was
Mm.
fucked either way.
Mm.
But like, I was like, ooh, she's either gonna get burnt by Daenerys or blah blah blah. She died under rubble
Yeah.
because the ceiling crashed on her. So it's
Ooh.
like, it's always the badass characters that get like the weakest deaths, intentionally or not.
Mm.
So I feel like Rhaenys is gonna die like some like really quote unquote stupid death, like a knife to the throat or poison, or she's gonna kill
Mm.
herself with something.
Bitch, I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like Aegon is gonna die. Like
Me
I
too.
I don't see Aegon living. Like he is a complex character, but I see a lot of the focus going to Aemond right now. So I don't know.
I don't see Alicent living.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Bitch,
I
I
don't
see
see
like
Alicent or Rhaenyra living.
bitch, I see like Rhaenyra and Alicent being there until the series finale.
But it's Mubarak, it's thrones. You just never know.
I know, but like Yenny, I feel like like the show I don't know, like I don't see the show without them. Like
And
this
Ned
whole thing
Stark,
started because of them.
Ned Stark was the headline for Thrones for 9 episodes, and then they killed him off.
But bitch, Ned Stark is not a fucking Targaryen, okay?
I mean, they kill off a Targaryen in the first season of Thrones too.
But that's not Rhaenyra Targaryen, okay? First of her name, bitch. She's gonna stay until the finale, please. I think that it will. It's only just that. Sorry, what I'm saying just as injustice. It's only just that
Mm-hmm.
it ends with them because it started with them too.
But like Thrones is not just. It's or Hot D is not just. It's an ugly game, as they say.
Bitch, Otto is gonna be beheaded, and like his head is gonna be like hung somewhere. Like I know that for sure.
Yeah, I don't see Otto making it out of the show. Like he's gonna get his shit rocked for
Bitch,
sure.
is Kristen Cole gonna make it?
No, he has to
Okay,
die.
he has to die, right? Like,
Yeah,
ooh,
and his death
okay,
is gonna be so fucking satisfying.
right? But
Yeah,
also like, again, knowing Thrones, I think that they're gonna give us like a very like death. You know, like he's just gonna.
bitch. I hope his head is crushed or something.
Ooh, bitch, I don't think so. I don't think
Something
they'll
like
do
that.
that.
But I don't think he's gonna make it out alive. I don't see that.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, technically, nobody makes it out alive
yeah,
because during the time of Game of Thrones, all of these characters are dead.
yeah, that is true.
So it's like, but like, who's gonna make it until the final shot of the show? That's
So
the
I have a
question.
question.
Yes.
So the dragons kind of go extinct at the end of this, right?
Yes.
Okay, but how are there dragons in Game of Thrones?
There are dragon eggs that are kept safe by someone who doesn't know how to hatch them. And then
Okay.
he gives it to Daenerys. And she's like, oh, I'll take
Okay,
that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a lot of fucking dragons in the show, and like
Yeah. So
I'm
one of
assuming.
these dragons could be the mother of Drogon and his brothers.
Ah,
Could be. I don't know.
bitch, that would be really cool if we see that happen.
Yeah.
So okay, another question. So why is the show called House of the Dragon and not the House of Dragons?
House of the Dragon, because it's supposed to be like, it's not talking about the dragons. It's talking about the Targaryens.
Okay.
The Targaryens are the House of the Dragon. Their
But
sigil
the
is the
House of
dragon.
Dragons flows better.
I know, but like their sigil is the dragon. So that's the House of the Dragon. The house that has a dragon on their sigil.
Oh, per. Okay.
The Valerians are the House of the Seahorse.
Oh, per. And the
You
High
know?
Towers are the House of the Tower?
House of the Tower, yeah.
Oh, per. Okay.
That's why it's
Okay.
House of the Dragon,
Did
not
the
House
High
of Dragon.
Towers make it to Game of Thrones?
There are high towers and thrones. There are all people from all families and thrones.
Oh, so there's no family that gets like
No family that gets like
eviscerated.
completely ended. No.
Okay.
Yeah. But we
Interesting.
know that like when Game of Thrones start, we know that like Daenerys and her brother are the last Targaryens surviving. So like they're the last two Targaryens ever.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Next question, bitch. Aegon and Aemon have like a third brother. There's like what? There's a third one.
So yes, this is a thing. So
Why is?
I have no idea. I have no answer to that question. So yes, Alicent has a fourth kid with Viserys. They haven't shown him on the show. He's in Old Town, which is the High Towers, is HQ basically.
But what?
Um,
Why?
I don't know, because even in the intro, like it shows 4 lines of blood, meaning Alicent has 4 children after her symbol. So it's like he's there. He's canon, but like they haven't mentioned him on the show. People have complained about it so much that George R.R. Martin had to go on his blog and say he wasn't written out. He's going to appear in season 2. They just couldn't include him in the season because the season was already overstuffed, and they didn't want to put like a 4th person in.
What? Okay, but like you're just gonna introduce him in season 2? Like where was he?
Because the 4th kid is important.
Okay, like super important.
Yeah, like he's not like Helena, where it's like they can put him just there. You know what I mean? He's like important.
Okay, but like where the fuck is he in like, like the fucking Last Supper that Viserys had?
He's in Old Town serving his masters.
What?
That's the explanation. I don't know what to say. That's the official explanation.
Bitch, the thing that confused me the most is that with Hot D, there's this very helpful character guide that HBO has that updates with each episode, and it shows like the state of like the family tree, like what happened and blah blah blah. And this person wasn't added until now, so I was under the impression that he was just born, but I'm like, okay, but
no,
Viserys is dead, so when did this happen?
No,
How
he's
old
like
is this person?
I think he's the youngest, but he's old.
Is there like a huge age gap?
No.
Bitch, why was he not playing with the kids?
I don't know.
When he was a kid.
I literally don't know. I don't have an answer for that. They'll explain it in season 2.
Bitch, that is fucking stupid.
They'll find an explanation.
Unless it's like a secret child, or like a child that has like, like special needs, and like he's taken to like another side of the kingdom, and like he can't.
They might make it that. They might make it that. To like as an explanation as to why he's not in this season. But in the kid, in the show, in the books, he's just a normal kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the million bastards like of Aegon that are just running around?
In the books, it's played off as like, oh, it's rumors. But in the show, we see them. Okay. But it's like it's not super confirmed. It's like someone blonde. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh,
bitch, there are no blondes in this. In this fucking like,
that is
not no.
That is not true, because when episode 9 starts, there's a little kid running around the castle who tells Talia that the king is dead or whatever. He's blonde. And
He's blonde, but like a yellow blonde, not white
and for
blonde.
the better part, I kid you not, for the better part of episode 9, I was like, is that Alicent's fourth child?
Oh.
I thought it was him.
Okay.
But it turns out not. But like, there's blonde people in Westeros, yeah.
Sure, if you say so.
Yeah. I mean, there's a million.
Like,
Aegon probably does have a million bastards, but they don't go over that. It's like, whatever, they're bastards. They're never gonna find out. Who cares?
sure, but like, genetics work in a really weird way because, Rhaenyra's three kids
God,
should not
this
have
genetics conversation, my head is gonna fucking blow. Listen, because like this has been a thing in the interweb since episode 5, and it's like, listen, whatever hair color the kid turns out to be is based on what the plot wants. That's literally the only. There's literally no explanation for it. It's just whatever makes the plot move forward. That's literally the only explanation. Because like, if you think about it too hard, it's gonna make your brain hurt. Because it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense at all. But like, like we can't.
Because like the kids are not Valerians, but they don't look like Targaryens either.
Yeah.
Ooh, child. Okay.
And like,
I'm trying to
yes,
I'm going like rapid fire with these things. Yeah, sorry.
And like, I will say, yeah, the people of Westeros completely ignore the fact that they don't look black, and just focus on like hair color, which is cute.
Yeah.
Like we love the color blindness of it all, but like, come on now.
Bitch, the shade of like when Joffrey was born, like Alicent was like, keep trying, maybe you'll get one that looks like you. It's like, ooh.
She gagged. He was gagged.
Ooh, bitch, I fucking love this world. I love this world. I can't wait until I actually watch Game of Thrones. I'm just going rapid fire because like,
of course,
I feel like there's a lot that we have talked about, but I'm trying to like just bring stuff up, like, so we can
just,
like,
there's a lot in this season. There was just so much.
I was gonna ask something, but now I forgot. Oh, okay, but you already mentioned this. Alicent is your favorite character, right?
Yes.
Who are your like top 3?
That's fucking hard, dude. Okay. That's really hard. Are we talking like favorite characters in terms of like I love this person as a character, or like favorites as in I like this person?
No, character.
Character? Mm-hmm. In no particular order, Alicent, Otto, and either Viserys or Rhaenyra. Oh, but Rhaenys also. Rhaenys. No, Rhaenys.
Rhaenys, right? Okay.
And then number 4 is Viserys / Rhaenyra.
Okay. Bitch, for me, it's Viserys. I think you can tell how much I love this character.
Yeah, Viserys is great.
I love Viserys so much. Like, I love not only do I like the actor, but I like how the character is written. I like how Viserys himself is like a metaphor of like, okay, the crown is like eating him up, and like he's a good person, like he's just trying to do everything right, but like, he's not the right person for the job,
and he's nothing like that in books. So much so that George R.R. Martin contacted Paddy, and he was like, "Your Viserys is so much better than mine that I want to go back and rewrite it."
Oh my god, that is huge.
Yeah, he was like he was like, George R.R. Martin came out and said the Viserys in the show is so much fucking better than the ones in the book that I'm embarrassed.
Bitch. Yeah, because Paddy did that. Like, he really,
and it's not just Paddy, it's the writers and how they wrote him and like everything. It's just wonderful.
They made the character really deep, and like the way the character is written, like there's a lot of poetry in Viserys that I love so much.
And in the books, this is a whatever character that dies to start the civil war. Like he's just there.
And that's what excites me so much, because like there's definitely gonna be a lot of like sleeper characters that are just gonna surprise us coming up.
Yeah.
That we don't expect anything from.
I mean, like Alicent is in the animated short, Alicent is just a footnote. She's like, oh, Alicent she did this, she gave birth to Aegon, and when the Green Council happened, she was like, I want Aegon to be king, and she's not on the rest of the story. And it's like they made her so intricate And
And so
from what I
deep.
remember, anyways, so
Mhm.
intricate and so deep and so attached to the overall plot. That's like it doesn't work without her. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it's like
Yeah. Because
incredible.
even though, like, historically, this is like Rhaenyra versus Aegon, and this show,
Yeah,
this is Rhaenyra versus Alicent.
it's actually Irina versus Allison. Yeah,
Ooh, I love that. Like, it just gives me so much chills. I
yeah.
love it. Bitch, Mizaria. I hope she gets recast, and I hope she surprises us.
I thought you were saying she was one of your favorite characters. I was like, what?
No, I was
Messiah?
saying like, no, I was leaning into like a joke. I was like, oh, Mizaria after her recast.
Yeah.
Bitch, they need to recast her or like
Recast,
drop the
buy her
actress.
a new accent or something. Jesus.
Ooh, the white
She got
warm.
this French accent from Shein, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
not worth it.
yeah. It's like a mix of like French and like Hispanic, and it's like, what is going on
What are you
here,
doing? What are you doing? What is this choice? And who
bitch?
okayed this? And like, oh,
Is there any
terrible.
so I know there's someone called Grey Worm in Game of
Yes.
Thrones, and she's White Worm. Is there a connection there?
No.
Oh,
Grey Worm
okay.
is in Game of Thrones. Grey Worm is an Unsullied, which are people from Yunkai, I believe, who have their cocks, cut. They chop
Yunkai.
off their cocks.
You mean like you mean Unix?
Yunkai, the city Yunkai. They're from Yunkai.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that a play on word on Unix?
No, it's just the city.
Okay.
Yeah. And they have their, balls and cock chopped off.
Bitch, I think it is a play on word on Unix.
What is
You know,
Unix?
Unix are people that cut off their their dicks.
Oh, okay, but like it's just like a very small part of Yunkai. Yunkai is a whole huge city with a lot of
Oh,
people.
okay.
Yeah, but maybe it is. I don't know. But yeah, I'm also not sure if they're from Yunkai. From what I remember, they could be from Marine. I don't know. I don't remember. But like
Interesting.
they're called the Unsullied, which is because
Okay.
they chop their bits off and they're unsullied. You can't sully them. Whatever. And there's no connection between the two. No, it's just like, oh, white worm, gray worm. I don't
Okay.
know. Yeah.
Sure. Whatever that means. Yeah,
Is
she's the
is he
character
called
that
Grey
felt
Worm
most
because
flat for me.
like
Mm-hmm.
when they chop off the dick it turns gray?
Oh, well, I didn't know that, but
Maybe
I
that's
do
why. I
now.
don't know. I
Oh,
don't know. I'm not sure. That's
bitch.
so interesting. I've never thought about that. I've never thought about why he was called Grey Worm.
Oh, they never explain it?
I think they do. I just don't remember.
Oh, okay. I mean, well, maybe we'll find out in the rewatch.
Maybe.
Bitch. Okay. I'm done. Like, this is all of my thoughts. Do you have anything
What are
you
your
want to
other
like?
favorite characters aside from Viserys?
Viserys. Oh. Okay. Viserys is my absolute favorite. He's my number one. Rhaenyra is my number two. I love her. I love both Emma Darcy and Millie Alcock. Is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah. I love both of their interpretations of Rhaenyra so much. I really love Alicent. I really like Aegon and Aemond as well. And I really like Jacaerys too.
Jacaerys?
Yeah. I don't know why.
Jace. Okay.
Jace, yeah. I don't know why. I just really like him. Like, I think he's like, he
I
seems like
think we know
a.
why.
No, that's not why. And the wig is not why. I think he. But the wig is terrible. But
terrible.
I get this. I don't know. I get this like feeling that he's some kind of like chosen one in some way. Like, I feel like he's gonna be very important. I don't know why.
He looks like a very basic white person, which is which is why how he's like the chosen one and stuff like that.
Oh,
he has the look of the chosen one.
he does, right?
Yeah.
Like, he reminds me of someone from like Lord of the Rings, like the main character of Lord of the Rings. Kind of looks like that.
The first time I saw Jace, I was like, oh my god, he looks like he's from Team Beach. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
He does.
Like he looks like he looks like he's from a Disney Channel original.
Oh,
I
sure.
don't know
the wig
why.
is not
Something about his face and the wig is just like it took me back.
Bitch, Aemond, I really like because I love the actor's like facial expressions. His face is just so expressive, and
yeah,
he has such a unique face. Like,
yeah,
it's so interesting. Like, because he looks kind of scary.
Very scary. He has a crazy sharp jawline.
Yeah,
yeah, and
like
it's also, by the way, the actual actor doesn't look that scary. It's just the eye patch makes it.
It's the eye. Yeah, because when he removed the eye patch, he kind of looked a little like softer, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And he looks fine without the eye patch.
Yeah, it's the eye patch that's like, whoa. Whoa,
Yeah,
okay.
it harshens a lot.
Yeah.
Who else do I like? I think that's it. I'm okay with Damon. Like he was one of the ones that I really liked in the beginning, but it's like whatever now. I really liked Lenore. But I don't like we're not gonna see him again.
Oh, she passed away? Oh.
Oh.
With an asterisk, yeah.
Ooh. Who else is there? Bitch. I think that's all. Like Alicent like takes the cake. And
Yeah.
Alicent, Viserys, and Rhaenyra take the cake for me. Rhaenys is a great character too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Perfect.
I think people come out like people went into the show being like Alicent is such a bitch because of how she's in the books. And like I'm not seeing that sentiment now at all.
All.
Which I think speaks volumes to the performance and to the writing and to the, like, you know, everything.
And she's such a jaded character, so it's like, okay, like
yeah, it's like you feel bad for her.
I feel bad for her. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her. Like you're not on the right side of this. You're not doing what is right, but
it's also kind of like not your fault. You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of feel bad for her. Like I don't know, like she didn't want any of this. She was forced to marry Viserys and like play the game. You know what I mean?
Apparently, she did the same with Jaehaerys, which is interesting. In the books, at least. Did you know that?
She did the same with who?
Jaehaerys, the old
Which
bitch
one?
from the beginning.
Alicent?
Yeah. Did you? I heard that on Alt Shift X's video about how in the books she performed sexual favors for Jaehaerys when he was dying as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and like
how old was she?
Bitch, because in the books she's older than Rhaenyra.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's right.
And that she lost her virginity to Daemon.
Oh, Miss Alicent was going around. Good for her.
Going around. Book Alicent. Book Alicent was going around.
Good for her.
So yeah, that makes me like wonder, like, okay, is that stuff gonna be explored, or like, okay, this is just,
no, I don't think she was, because she's a lot younger in the show. I don't think she would. Was Alicent even alive
when Paris was there?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah, because Rhaenyra wasn't alive. Like Rhaenyra wasn't born yet, so she wasn't born yet. No, that's impossible. And I don't think she was messing around with Aemond. They've barely interacted. Or Daemon, sorry.
Daemon. Yeah, they barely interacted in the show, but like Book Alicent did, so.
Yeah, Book Alicent is like a completely different character. But it's also one of those things where it's like maybe the person that wrote the book hated Alicent and was like, hey, by the way, I heard this. You know what I mean?
I mean, true. So I'm getting the sense that the book was very anti-Rhaenyra and anti-Alicent.
The book was very anti-anyone. The book was like, these two bitches were fucking, like, it was very that. It was very that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bitch, I can't wait to see where this beef takes us, because
it's like, if you listen to the and you can watch the first 5 minutes of the animated thing, I think it's really great, and like you'd be like, oh my god, like this is a real thing that's been, these are the events, like holy shit. It's always been like this. The person narrating is like very bitter. He's like, ugh, these people that made me lose my ancestry, ugh, fucking Alicent or Rhaenyra. You know what I mean?
Bitch, put their names in the history books, okay? Because this beef is going a long way.
Exactly.
Oh, bitch, I'm so fucking, like, I'm so excited, because the biggest shock for me in the beginning of the show was, oh, she's getting married to her dad? Like, to her dad's best friend?
Yeah.
To her best friend's dad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
To her best friend's dad. And I'm like, oh my god, this is like so huge, but we're hurtling towards disaster very quickly.
And it's very, very exciting.
Bitch. Do you have any final thoughts?
No. Send a raven to the listeners. It's the end of the episode, unfortunately.
Oh, you ate that. Yeah. You ate that. I don't have any final thoughts. I give the overall season like a 9 out of 10.
I give it a 9 out of 10 as well. 4 stars and a half out of 5.
Yes, exactly. Same. Yeah, I loved it. I can't wait for season 2, and I can't wait to see if we do like a Game of Thrones thing here.
I hope we do. We're gonna have to time our rewatch, but I feel like we would be able to. we'd be able to. And then,
I hope
Balak, I'll
so.
tell you right now, when you start rewatching Game of Thrones and when you get into the groove, you're not gonna stop. You're not gonna stop.
Bitch, I
You're
can
gonna
tell. I
gobble.
mean, I'm really excited.
You're gonna gobble the entire show in like 3 weeks. Trust.
Oh, bitch. Because I know someone that was watching the entire show while season 8 was airing, started the show while season 8 was airing, and finished with the show.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, finished the entire show in a week.
And Balak, it's very addicting.
I mean, I can tell.
Yeah. And it's also like
Oh.
not really long. It's like what? 78 episodes? That's it?
And
Something
each
like that.
episode is like 40 minutes? Or an hour?
Each episode is an hour. It's HBO,
Okay.
so full hour. But like it's not like a full, you know. Yeah. It's not like a full thing.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Because like the last 2 seasons are like 8 episodes each or something. Not for the last season is 6 episodes. The season before that is 8. So it's like, yeah.
Bitch, I can't wait. And also, like, I can't wait to see like the rewrites in like on YouTube, because a lot of them have been popping up for me.
Yeah.
The season 8 rewrites.
I mean they're not any better, to be honest. But
okay. I mean, I learned from like the Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker.
It's like, you're rewriting this? Okay, it's shit. Fuck you.
Girl.
Yeah.
Anyways, with that, these were our thoughts on House of the Dragon season 1. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked this episode and you like this pod as a whole, please follow us on social media at TheMKPod. That's TheMKAYPod. TheMKPod, TheMKAYPod on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And
I just got a call, but like I don't think it affected anything, right?
Not for me, no.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and with that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, Khalifa, and
you too,
listeners. All right, bye.
Bye. And
Bye.
please do better and stay safe for the good of the realm. Thank you. Gotta throw out for the good of the realm. They keep saying it on the show.
Oh, for the good of the okay. Per. All right. It reminded me of like when we used to tell people to get vaccinated.
Get vaccinated for the good of the realm, please.
Thank you.
Please. You're not vaccinated yet.
All right.
At this point, if you're not vaccinated, you should be dead. I'm sorry. Like you deserve that. All right. Bye.
Don't be wishing that on my grandma. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.